Good morning, students. Today we are going to see three topics. They are disqualification of a director, duties of director, and also what are the steps involved in appointment of directors. First, we are going to discuss about disqualification of a director. In that, we are having 4 points. They are a person of unsound mind, a person who is convicted by court of an offence, a person who has not paid any call in respect of shares of company held by him, and finally a person who is already a director of a public company which has not filled annual accounts or written for 3 years. Let us discuss briefly. First point, there is a person of unsound mind. A person with an unsound mind is said that they are not mentally fit. They are not in position to be normal and act differently. So, they will not be able to participate in the activities of the company. And the second point is a person who is convicted by court of an offence. That means here the person is said to be committed a fraud or is punishable under the court of law. If the person involves in any criminal activity and he is said to be guilty. And the third point is a person who has not paid any call in respect of shares of company held by him. Here every director of the company holds some shares of the company where he is working with. If the director has not paid any amount for the shares, then he can be disqualified. Then the last point is a person who is already a director of a public company which has not filled annual accounts or written for 3 years. That means if an existing director of a company who has not filled the company annual report for continuous 3 years, then he is said to be a disqualified from the role of the company. That is, he is not no more will be a director in that company. The next question is duties of a director. Let us discuss what are all the duties the director needs to undertake. They are act in good faith, and the next point is act for the benefit of its members. Third point is independent judgment. Fourth point is exercise his duties with care and skill. And the last point is shall not assign his office or any assignment to others. Let us discuss the points briefly. The first point is act in good faith. Act of good faith always refers to the concept of being sincere in one's business dealings and without any own or personal desire. They should be honest in the company. They should be honest to the company and the stakeholders of the company. And the next point is act for the benefit of its members. That is, the director of the company always work to the benefit of the company. They always need to focus on giving benefit to the shareholders and the investors also. They plan and act towards the development and increased profit of the company. Third point is independent judgment. Here, the director has the authority to make any independent decisions and does not need not get any orders from other direction or superior. His decision is always considered as final and free from review. He will be fully responsible for the outcome of the decision he takes. That is, he only responsible for the outcomes which is coming, which was the decision made by him. And the fourth point is exercise his duties with care and skill. The director always need to take decision and the outcomes are said to be the final one. That is, whatever the decision taken by the director will consider as the final one. So he should take all the decision with utmost care and use development skills. So his activities will either bring profit of the company nor neither loss to the company. So he should be very careful in performing his duties. That is, while taking any decision, he should be very careful because his decision only considered as the final one. And the last point is shall not assign his office or any assignment to others. The director of a company is said to be the highest grade in an organization or a company. That is, he will not delegate his rights and duties to any other. Being the important decision or made by him, he will be liable for all the acts he done. So he does not allow others to provide judgment. There are few times where the decisions are taken by other supervisors due to unconditional circumstance, but the decisions are later discussed with the director and then only the decision will be implemented. Is what are the steps involved in appointment of directors? Let us discuss the points first. The first point is first director. Second one is subsequent appointment of directors by members. Third one is appointment of independent directors. And fourth one is appointment of directors by directors. And the fifth one is appointment of directors by third parties. And sixth one is appointment by proportional representation. And the last one is appointment of directors by small shareholders. Let us discuss the points briefly. The first point is first director. In most of the companies, the first director are named in their articles. In case if the company is a one-person company, an individual being a member, it shall be deemed to be its first director. If it is a one-person company, the person who will run the business is treated as the first director of the company. And the second one is subsequent appointment of director by its members. That is, subsequent director must be appointed in accordance with the provision of the section 152. A person appointed as a director of the company shall have director identification number. In short form, we can tell that DIN number, DIN, that is director identification number, and it is allotted by the central government. The person who proposed as director should furnish his DIN number and declare on that he is not disqualified to become a member under this act. And the annual general meeting at which a director retires, if any director retires, by rotation of the company, they will fill the vacancy by appointing the retiring director or someone else. In the place of the retiring director, they can appoint some other director. The third point is appointment of independent director. That is, according to section 149, every listed company shall have at least 1/3 of the total number of director as independent director. An independent director in relation to a company means a director other than a managing director who is a person of who will possess or relevant expertise and experience having in that. The independent director will always not a promoter of the company, that is of its holding or subsidiary or any other associate company, and he will not be the relevant, that is he will not having any relevant relation to the promoters or the directors in the company. And the fourth point is appointment of directors by directors. In some cases, the directors can also appoint the directors. They can appoint additional directors, casual vacancy they can fill, and alternative directors also they can appoint. They are having that authority to appoint the directors. And the fifth point is appointment of director by third parties. Subject to the articles of a company, the board may appoint any person as a director nominated by any institution. That in the time being of any agreement by central or state government, they can appoint the directors by third party. The articles under certain circumstances having that is given power to the debenture holders and also to the other creditors like banking company or other financial corporation, because they have already given an advance loan to the company to appoint their nominees to the boards. So while lending loan itself, they are having the powers to nominate the directors. Then appointment by proportional representation. That is, the appointment of directors is done by the simple majority vote on the resolution moved for their appointment. As a result of this, majority shareholder controlling 51% or more of the votes are able to select all the directors. The system of a proportional representation was introduced under section 163 of the Companies Act 2003. The articles of a company may provide for the appointment of not less than 2/3 of the total number of directors of a public company or else a private company. The last point is appointment of directors by shareholders, that is by small shareholders. What is that? Is even a small shareholders can appoint the director. That is, the majority of the equity shareholders will nominate a representative on behalf of the shareholder. They will give their opinion. So based on the opinion and the majority, they will select the director for the company. That's why they are telling appointment of director is also eligible by the small shareholders.